To draw a marigold, it's best to kind of plan out what you want to do first. So if we think of the flower as being a circle like that, and then you're going to get the bit that goes to the stem, which I really should know that word, shouldn't I? It's probably the ovary or the peduncle, although I think this is the peduncle. Anyway, we don't need to worry about that. Let's just plan this out. That's kind of the shape of the flower. And then we're going to want a leaf coming out that way, and we'll make that a nice sinewy kind of S shape like that, and one on the other side too. And then we're going to get these nice little sinewy things coming out as well. So they want to be nice sort of S. They're very shallow S shapes, aren't they, like that? And then we can start to ink this in a little bit. And it's just hundreds and hundreds of petals. So let's start roughly in the middle, and we'll come out like that. And it's kind of wiggle, 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 and back again. and we'll do another one like that. And then we want to have 1, 2, 1, 2 like that. And that's our, that's where we're going to start from. That's our starting point. And then we're going to start just going round and round in circles, really. And let's make that like a cross and put those little bits in there. And then just start filling in. And so it's kind of slight, each of these petals is slightly wider on this section, and then it sort of curves in a little bit. And that's basically what we're going to do all the way around. And just fill it in. And this just requires a bit of patience and a bit of time and a bit of care, I suppose. And I'm doing this marigold here because I'm doing a series of how to draw videos about Dia de los Muertos, which is the Mexican Day of the Dead. So if you search on DrawstuffRealeasy, you'll find I've done quite a few. I've got a playlist. You'll see in the description box down below. And they just use a lot of marigolds during the Day of the Dead to decorate their altars or ofrendas, and just generally make everything look a bit sort of jolly, I suppose. Can you be jolly on the Day of the Dead? I don't know. Well, I think you can. It's a sort of a... Yeah, it sounds like it's a bit spooky, but it sounds a bit... It's a celebration of the ancestors, your family who have died in the past, and it's kind of remembering them and sort of welcoming them back to the living world, which I think it might be quite a healthy idea, really, is to remember your grandparents and your great-great-grandparents. Your grandparents are probably, hopefully, are still alive. But, great-great-grandparents, so my grandparents have been long gone, and my parents now have all gone. And so it's probably a good time to, just once a year, to remember them. And by remembering them, you remember, you kind of work out where you come from, because there's a lot of them in you, isn't there? And you are made up from your parents and your grandparents and your great-grandparents. I've been doing a bit of family research recently and sort of come across people I've never heard of. And it's just really interesting to find out what they did. And obviously everybody wants to know that their great-great-grandfather was the King of England or something like that. But most of us are not. So I have, in my background, I have lots of miners, lead miners. They used to go underground and dig out the lead. And I have publicans as well, people who kept pubs and bars and builders. And in my near sort of history, it's quite interesting that we have quite a lot of people who were in the post office, and that immediately makes you think of delivering letters. But here in the UK, the post office at the turn of the 20th century was very involved in telephones. And so, in fact, it was really quite a high-tech job. So I suppose it's the equivalent today of being a sort of a computer nerd. My grandfather was sort of very into technology and playing with stuff like that. And so was my dad, and so was my brother, and so was my sister. And it's obviously kind of built into the genes, I think. And now we're going to come down to the ovary part like that. I'm just going to put those little lines there. And then we can bring the stem. What was it? This is the peduncle. I wonder what... I'm going to have to look that up, aren't I? And then we can bring that up there and flick that out there. Maybe a bit more. And then bring it in a little bit. And then flick that out a bit more. Bring it in a little bit. Flick that out a bit more there. And this is going to come down. And we can sort of join that bit there. So this next bit will be out there. And we want these really nice sinewy lines. If you can do that, like that. Because they have this quite sort of feathery, very light feel to their leaves. We'll bring that out up there. Now I've gone a bit off stray there, haven't I? So I'm going to have to kind of bring myself back again. And I think it's because I didn't want to turn the piece of paper to make it easier to draw. So here I'm going to bring that in there. And we'll bring that down there. So that will then come to there. And take that out. Bring that in there like that. And now we have to do the leaves. They have this sort of long sort of shape like that, but we want to do up and zigzag back like that. So they're quite long, thin leaves. So that will come this way and back like that. And like I say, they're quite long and thin. And we'll go back, forward, like that. So it's a very zigzaggy kind of leaf. Like that. And then you just have to... It's one of these drawings you just have to stay calm. And not get too frustrated and want to rush. I think that's something I was talking to someone today about. Well, I had an email from somebody and they were saying when they teach, and I thought this is a very good point, is that when you're younger, when you're learning to draw, you're not going to make great art. I don't think. And so it's just to get over that. You're not going to be a great artist when you've only just been drawing for a week. So it's all about experimentation and having fun. But it's also kind of learning the skills. And drawing is a great way it's a really nice way to just calm down. And take your time. It's a really good way to teach yourself to calm down as well. To just take your time, and some things need you to do that. It's kind of a discipline, and I think self-discipline is a wonderful skill to learn. Where if you can teach yourself just to calm down and just get on with the job. And not rush, just to do it as best as you can. So we just keep working away at these, you know, and it's so easy to think, oh, I'm bored. And I'll go and do something else now and leave it and not finish it. But let's keep going. Resilience. That's the thing. Now you can also put little lines up inside all of these as well, these little ribs. And that will just kind of give it that extra leafy feel. And we just work our way down there like that, through all these leaves. And then I'm also going to use this. When you are absolutely sure that the ink is dry, then you can erase those pencil lines. So this is actually an African marigold type, and you get French marigolds and you get marigolds. So there are different types and different shapes of marigold. But once you coloured it in, it's generally orange. Thanks for watching and subscribing, and come back again and draw stuff real easy.